Hello, Booktube. This is a book review, The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. And I was fortunate enough I won this in a giveaway by Madman Reads and Rocks. And he's like, hey, what book do you want? And I'm like, wouldn't mind having The Hate You Give, and he got it to me, so thank you, Ryan. Now, this book, of course, deals with the shooting of an unarmed black man by cops. Actually, he was a kid, Khalil. And his friend is there, and she witnesses it. And this is Star. She's pretty much our main character, and she's 16. And by the way, I did this as a buddy read with Beth Chet's books and Dane Reads. Dane Cobain. So, after her friend gets shot and killed by the cops, she, of course, wants to do something about it. She just wants justice, like we all do. She goes to the cops. Pretty much nothing's done. She runs into this activist later on. And I don't do spoilers, but her father was an ex-con. He owned his own business. His name was Maverick, I think. And her mother was in the medical profession. I want to say she was a surgeon or surgeon's assistant. I really need to do these reviews right after I finish the book. One of the things I really liked about this book was the way the family handled, the bad times and stuff like that. And they laughed, they cut up, they had cookouts, and that's kind of what you have to do. I mean, to me, a lot of the stuff going on is more of it's a class issue, because poor people kind of get in this rut. They get in this cycle where it's kind of hard to get out of. I mean, just speaking for myself, and I understand Angie Thomas, she grew up and she's seen a lot of this stuff and was around a shootout and things, and I totally understand that. And I understand I'm getting away from the book, but this is how this book came into being and wound up on the bestseller list. So you see that stuff, and now I'm getting back to the characters. And it's just an everyday thing. I mean, I live in a county called Bloody Breathitt, so, when I was growing up, and it's not quite as prevalent now, you were used to people getting shot. So, it's not, I don't know, it's kind of just, it's just like, yeah, here we go again. Somebody go, oh, so-and-so got shot. And, when I was a kid and lived just down the road here, one night we thought somebody were setting off firecrackers, and it turned out they shot somebody next door, took him up the road here, dumped him in the old tipple. And me and my brother was up there playing. We didn't know there was a dead body in there. We didn't come across it, but they found him later. Now, going back to the character Star, granted she was 16, and she was having a difficult time processing it, but the way that her family got behind her and backed her, and here's the bad thing about, and I don't really want to diss the cops, because I know some that are good. I've also ran into some that aren't. This one guy I used to drink with, cops shot him. I don't know the full details. My brother, several years ago, he was cleaning fish in his yard. Cops rolled up on an old warrant. He had a knife in his hand because he was, cleaning fish. So he lays the knife down, puts his hands behind his head. They handcuff him, and then they beat him so bad they almost killed him. He probably weighed 120 pounds then. So this is what, you know, we're dealing with, and this is the issue in this book, is accountability. You know, as far as the gun violence goes, I've got a list here. I really not sure if I want to go into it. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people that I know of that have been shot and killed, and a couple of those people survived. And then I know some people, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people that have shot other people. And one guy shot 6 people. It was called the Mount Carmel Massacre here in Breathitt County. This guy I used to go to school with. He shot 6 people and then shot himself. So what I'm getting at is that the people that live like we do, we have a different way of handling things than, say, I don't want to presume to know how people that, you know, live up here as far as money and stuff are, because I don't know what goes on. I just know I had a shot at probably being a white collar worker, and I dropped out of college and went back into construction, because in construction I knew where I stood. In construction, if somebody screws you over, you just wait outside for them. You call them out. It's real simple. That probably doesn't happen in office cubicles and in that situation. And you know, I was getting ready to go into teaching, and it's just a different thing. I mean, I don't really know how to describe it, but I totally identified with the family. My youngest brother was shot and killed, and they never did catch the guy that did it. They said, oh, you know, it was an accident. He was dating a drug dealer's ex-girlfriend, so anytime you're involved with the drug dealer, apparently there's no point in investigating, so it was swept under the rug. And people warned him, but he's like, well, I like her, she likes me, I can't help it. You know, she used to be this drug dealer's girlfriend. And that was 12 years ago. So, you know, as far as race issues go, I lived in Marietta, Georgia. I was there 6 months. I lived in a trailer park, trailer trash, white trailer trash, whatever you want to call it. I had 5 fights, and they were all with white people. I hung around Detroit for the better part of 2 years, partying and going on. I was at the Brewster Projects. I was in all kinds of places, and I only got in one fight with a black person. I had other fights with white people where I lived at. So, you know, I've never really had a problem with racism, you know, as far as you know, being targeted. I know I watched a couple biographies on Kid Rock and Eminem, and they're like, oh, they had a ghetto pass or one of them. I said, well, I must have had a ghetto pass, because, you know, I went all over. Nobody ever said, hey man, don't come around here, we'll kill you because you're white. Oh, there was one bit of dialogue in The Hate You Give that I didn't agree with, and that was when they were talking, they said, we need to stick together, and then the comment was, white people have been sticking together for years. That's just not true, trust me. We don't stick together. There are divisions, there are the haves and the have-nots. That's just the way it goes. I mean, but I give this book 4.5 stars, and that's a recommended reading. Everybody's talked about it. I think the first time I saw it was Gerard the Bookworm. I don't know, there's been so many people that have reviewed this book, and yeah, I've prattled on and stuff, but you know, I just wanted to throw that in there, that I know where this family's coming from. I know that's fiction, but still. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this rambling, and I'll see you. Bye.